So today I'm going to show you a video about the granny square. I know that there are many different ways to make a granny square, and one of the main reasons why I make this video is to give my students whom I teach in person something that they can fall back onto when they're back home that shows exactly the same process as I show them in class. However, I hope that this will be useful for anybody else, especially to any beginners who are trying to teach themselves how to crochet. So I have here a chart which I will refer to. I have some yarn. This is the same yarn I am now using with my students who are complete beginners as well. It's nice to the touch, quite thick, and because it's a cord-like string, your hook cannot split it, so it makes it easier for beginners. And I'm using a hook number 5 today. So we start with a granny square. You can start with a magic loop, but for beginners I recommend starting with chains because it's less confusing. So as you can see on the chart, we start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and then we use a slip stitch to join them in the round. So don't be confused, you can start with a regular slip knot, but that's how I make slip knots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. You can see them clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we find our very first chain. We insert the hook into it. I always insert the hook for a slip stitch so that there are 2 bars on top and 1 at the bottom. So in here we grab the yarn and we pull it through both stitches. And now this is where we're going to work our first round. So we will always be inserting the hook into this big hole in the middle. And so our first round starts with 3 chains and then 3 more double crochet stitches. I'm using American terminology throughout my videos. So we do 3 chains and a double crochet stitch. This video is not meant to teach you how to make different crochet stitches. I'm hoping to make those videos as well. This video is more about how to make the granny square itself. So 1, 2, and 3. So our first 3 chains, they replace a double crochet stitch and they allow us to position our hook at the height of a double crochet stitch. So we now can say that we have 4 stitches, and this is one side of our square. Now we're going to do 2 chains, 4 stitches, 2 chains, 4 stitches, 2 chains, 4 stitches, 2 chains to complete our square. So 2 chains. Notice how I hold the loose end of my yarn next to our 5 chains of the beginning, so that this end is secured and we can cut it when we're done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 chains, 2 chains are always the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 chains. So you may need to tighten your stitches around your beginning chain, but that's why I use 4 double crochet stitches for the beginning, is that it gives some structure to your square. So your square is better shaped. So as you can see, now we have 4 stitches, 2 chains for the corner, 4 stitches, 2 chains for the corner, 4 stitches, 2 chains for the corner, 4 stitches. So our square is almost finished. We make last 2 chains, and now we need to make a slip stitch here to join our 2 chains to the beginning so that the round is complete. So you need to work into the 3rd chain out of the 3 ones that you made in the beginning of the round. Let's see if we can try and see them here. So you can see 1, 2, and 3. And this belongs to the double crochet stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, we put in the hook so that there's just 1 string at the bottom of your hook and 2 on top. We pull the yarn through both stitches and our first round is done. So now we're moving on to the second round, and we started with 4 chains. 3 of those chains will count as a double crochet stitch, and 1 chain allows us to go across the group of 4 stitches of the previous round. So from now on, we will only be working always 3 double crochet stitches, not 4. 4 is just for the beginning, for the very first round. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, 3 double crochet stitches that go into those 2 chains that made the corner in the previous round. So do not try and work them into the chain. We just work into this big space that we have created by those 2 chains. So put the hook into the big space and we work 3 double crochet stitches, now we work 2 chains and 3 double crochet stitches in the same big space. So 2 chains for the corner, 1, 2, 3 double crochet stitches, then 1 chain that goes above the double crochet stitches of the previous round, and we'll do the same combination for the next corner. 3 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, 3 double crochet stitches, all into this big space. So 1 chain, 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 1, 2, 3, 1 chain to go across the double crochet stitches, and again the same, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 3 stitches. One chain to go across the double crochet stitches of the previous round, and again 3, 2, and now we have come here, so we have done 3 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, and as you can see we only need to do 2 double crochet stitches here and join in the 3rd chain from the 4 that we made in the very beginning of the round to complete this round too. So I make 2 double crochet stitches. Now we'll count the chains. So it's 1, 2, 3. Third, you can see here's the 4th and here's the 1st double crochet stitch. So insert the hook, pull the yarn through both loops, and so now we have completed 2 rounds of our granny square. Now we're on to the 3rd round, where again we'll start with 3 chains that will count as 1 double crochet stitch, and we will work now double crochet stitches into the chain spaces created by 1 chain across the side of the square, and then we do our usual combination: 3 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, 3 double crochet stitches for the corners. We never work in granny square any double crochet stitches over double crochet stitches, which makes this a very easy project because you don't have to put your hook precisely in any of the stitches apart from when you're joining the round. You're always working into these big spaces created by chains in the previous rounds. So that takes away the frustration that a lot of people have in the beginning, where the hook just doesn't want to go into the stitch it's meant to go. So 3 chains, and now we work into this space created by 1 chain, and I'll make 2 more stitches. Make 1 chain to go across the 3 double crochet stitches of the previous round. We work now the corner, so 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 3 more into the same corner, 1, 2, 3. So now we have 3 stitches in the previous round, so we do 1 chain, 3 stitches in the next space, now again 1 chain, and we do the corner, so 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 3 stitches, 1 chain over the 3 stitches of the previous round, 3 stitches in the space, 1 chain, and another corner, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 1, 2, 3, 1 chain over the double crochet stitches of the previous round again, 3 more in the chain space, again 1 chain, and we are on to our last corner. So 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We were missing 2 chains and 3 more stitches. Chain 1 and join with a slip stitch. And now our square is completed for row 3, round 3. You can see here clearly round 1, round 2, and round 3. As I'm running out of yarn, I will also show you how to change the yarn color in a granny square, because if you look online or if you look in the books, a lot of granny squares are made with different color each round. I do not recommend this for beginners because you will have a lot of ends to take care of, but still it might be useful for you to see how I change the colors. For this I will have to undo my slip stitch. I will take this apart. I'll go back here and I will use new color for the slip stitch. And what I recommend for beginners is that you cut the old yarn straight away and tie the ends into a knot. This way nothing gets unraveled. So to tie the knot on the yarn, I do first one regular knot and one double knot. So I pull the yarn in the loop once and I pull it twice. And I pull tightly. And then you can use the needle to hide those ends. With granny square, you can't really work them into your fabric because you're skipping a lot of stitches. So if you do, that I'll show you how this will. So we're onto here and we're doing 4 chains, 3 for a double crochet stitch and 1 to get across this group of stitches of the previous round. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I hold those yarn ends and use a double crochet stitch to fix them, you will see on the back side that they're very loose and very easy to see. That's why I don't do this in a granny square, and I just keep them loose and then use a needle to secure them a little bit more along the stitches when the square is done. So now we're on the last round of my chart. This doesn't mean that your granny square cannot be bigger. It can also be smaller. It's just that from now on, you will be repeating these last 2 rounds all the time, just every round will be a little bit bigger. So we always work 3 double crochet stitches into chain 1 space of the previous round and do 1 chain over the group of stitches of the next round. And when we get to the corner, which is 2 chains, we always do our corner combination, which is 3 stitches, double crochet stitches, chain 2 for the corner, and then 3 double crochet stitches in the same space. 1, 2, and 3.
1 chain, 3 stitches, 1 chain, 3 stitches, 1 chain, 3 stitches. We're at the corner now, so we do 2 chains, 3 stitches in the same space, 1 chain, 3 stitches, 1 chain, 3 stitches, 1 chain. We're at the corner now, so 3 stitches, 2 chains for the corner, 3 more stitches in the same corner, and we have 1 side to go, so 1 chain, 3 stitches in the chain space, 1 chain, 3 stitches.
Some of my students have had difficulty to figuring out when they get to the corner. The easiest way to see that is actually lay down your work and see where you are. So here we can see clearly that the next space is not a regular space but a corner space. So we make a chain and we work 3 stitches, chain 2, 3 more stitches, and now we have gotten here. So we do 1 chain, 2 double crochet stitches. The third one is created by 3 out of 4 chains we did in the beginning. Don't do that. We always work into the big hole created by chains of the previous round. So 1 chain, 2 more stitches. And slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So you have here 1, 2, and 3rd chain, and we do a slip stitch. And another round of our granny square is finished. So me personally, I like them like this, but a lot of people and a lot of books recommend doing a single crochet border around your square to finish off. So I'll show you how to do that. And we're here in our chart, and we will do 1 chain and then work single crochet stitches around. So 1 chain, 1 single crochet stitch into the same stitch that we have done our slip stitch into. 1 single crochet stitch in the chain space, and then 3 stitches into 3 double crochets, 1 in the chain, 3 here, and we do 3 single crochet stitches into the corner, into the 2 chain space, and we continue. Do not lose, it's very easy to lose this first double crochet stitch, so always count your stitches. 1, 2, 3,
1, 1, 2, 3. Lost this one. So that's 2, and that's 3, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. And we continue working around 3 stitches in the corner. Do not lose this one. 1, 2, 3, 1. So you see this single crochet round gives us a bit of a structure and evens out our square. We continue. I have come to the conclusion that this kind of yarn is probably the best for the beginners to work with, because you can see how clear are all the different parts of the stitch. It's very easy to see where you need to put your hook into. And it's very easy to do also because the hook cannot break the strand itself, which is what happens a lot with other kinds of yarns and can be very difficult for the beginners to work. It's also thick, and you can use a big hook, so it's easier to control your hand movements, and also your projects go really fast, so it doesn't take you very long to complete something that is usable. So here we go, our last corner, 3 stitches to work with, because you can see how clear are all the different parts of the stitch. It's very easy to see where you need to put your hook into. And it's very easy to do also because the hook cannot break the strand itself, which is what happens a lot with other kinds of yarns, and it can be very difficult for the beginners to work. It's also fake, and you can use a big hook, so it's easier to control your hand movements, and also your projects go really fast, so it doesn't take you very long to complete something that is usable. So here we go.
This is where the first of the next group of 3 should go. 1, 2, 3, 1 here. I only need to do 2 here, 1, 2. 1, 2, and we join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. To finish off, make 1 chain, leave about 10 centimeters of the yarn, cut it, and use your hook to pull it out. And we're done.